A season of highs and lows for Manchester United. Who can forget that stunning victory over Liverpool on New Year's Day? Or indeed the spectacular goals from Mark Hughes, Brian McClair, Brian Robson and company right through the season. However, United finished no better than 11th in the Barclays League. In the next 40 minutes, all the goals in United's season in that league. Here we are, an early game at Old Trafford against Middlesbrough. United had already drawn 0-0 with Queen's Park Rangers and lost by 1-0 against Liverpool at Anfield. But coming up now, their first goal in the Barclays League for the season. Ball played along here. A mistake by the Middlesbrough defence. Pounced on here by Brian McClair. Steaming up from the midfield now we have Brian Robson. There's the pass. There's Robson, and United are on the score sheet with their first victory of the season, 1-0. Now United are on the road again, this time visiting Luton Town on their artificial surface at Kenilworth Road. Again, the United defence in good, mean form. But look at the howler coming up in the Luton defence now, as Johnson is caught in possession there by Peter Davenport, and Davenport punishes him firmly. United go into the lead. Now, away fans not allowed at Kenilworth Road, so United fans wouldn't have seen this second Brian Robson goal. Worth waiting for now. Davenport again in the thick of it. A little flick to McClair. McClair sends Olsen scampering down that left touchline, and then, as the cross comes in, steaming in again from the midfield, the United skipper Brian Robson in off the post, and that's a 2-0 victory for Manchester United. West Ham arrived at Old Trafford already suffering at the wrong end of the table, and they were made to suffer more. Coming up now, a fine goal from Peter Davenport, arguably the best goal he scored in the red shirt of Manchester United. Some nice interpassing here. And in the end, Davenport threading the ball beautifully past the West Ham keeper. United in the lead again. One of the features of this season for Manchester United has been the way that Alex Ferguson has been able to introduce some of his younger players. One of them, Russell Beardsmore, who has a hand in the second goal. Here's Hughes. Davenport lurking just inside him. There he is. And now Russell Beardsmore, the 19-year-old. And it's from his cross that Hughes scores the second goal, with a typical piece of Hughes finishing. Another victory for Manchester United. So, Manchester United still seeking to get back on level terms with Spurs here in a really sunlit afternoon at White Hart Lane. Maybe they can put a little bit of pressure on them now with this free kick just outside the penalty area, quickly taken as well. Here's Strachan with a little chip in there towards Mark Hughes! Oh, a marvellous goal for Manchester United by Mark Hughes. A brilliant volley. And that brings it level at 1-1. Strachan certainly played his part, delicate little chip, and he is a supreme volleyer, and that was as good a volley as you could ever see. One of the great goals of the season, this one, well worth another view, and the keeper with no chance from Mark Hughes. Still playing some enterprising football, Manchester United, in this game. Here's Strachan with that little dart of his forward. He's got Mark Hughes outside him. There's the cross, and it's McClair! Another one for United. The perfect header from the perfect cross, and McClair's going across to Hughes to acknowledge that. Strachan played his part, but what a good centre by Hughes. And look at this, the perfect downward header from Brian McClair. Great cross, and for United, the perfect finish. This is Hans Seggers, the Dutch goalkeeper that Wimbledon have just bought from Nottingham Forest. Now, they say mistakes in the First Division get punished. Well, look at this. That was a bad kick out. Mark Hughes says thank you very much for Manchester United, And that one finished in a 1-1 draw. So United were unbeaten in their previous 5 league games when Norwich City came to Old Trafford. Norwich, the surprise team of the First Division. And it looked as though United were on their way again. Hughes sending the ball wide here for Strachan. And guess who's on the end of it? Yeah, Mark Hughes again. But sadly, Norwich scored twice in the last 6 minutes. But where would United have been without those Mark Hughes goals? Well, that was a setback for them. And now another tough game in prospect as they visit Everton at Goodison Park.
Olsen stopped by Stephen. Blackmore taking it up again. Hughes on the far side. Mark Hughes. A goal now in each of his last 5 league games. And it puts United into the lead. Blackmore crossing it in. There's Hughes. There's no brilliant guy on the volley than Mark Hughes. And from another angle, a sight for sore eyes for all United fans, and a really spectacular piece of finishing there by Mark.
Next, a home game against Aston Villa. And a rare goal for the big defender, Stephen Bruce. They don't come any more competitive than him. But the problem for United these days is that they just don't seem to be able to put a win together. Draws in plenty, but victories thin on the ground. There goes Bruce, and that's another 1-1 draw. Terrific atmosphere here in the baseball ground in Derby. Manchester United now with Sharp playing the ball in. Forward to Hughes again. Might get into a shooting position. Here's a goal! Made absolutely out of nothing by Mark Hughes. And when you think of the quality of the goalkeeper he's beaten, Peter Shilton, that was some shot. Getting himself into a good position, lining it up, came through the defender's legs probably. That may have slightly unsighted Shilton, but there's that ball nestling in the back of the net. Good shot. Perfectly placed. A fine goal for Manchester United. That's Olsen. Struggling to keep possession and then brought down, but the referee playing on there. Good bit of advantage there played by the referee. There's Olsen's cross. McClair with the header at the near post. Another one for Manchester United. So difficult to defend against those near post crosses, and that was played into that area to perfection by Olsen. Glanced into the far corner by McClair. Connoisseur's goal, that one, and a valuable one for Manchester United. But again, a 2-2 draw when United were looking for a victory, and a week later, Southampton were the visitors, another 2-2 draw. That in spite of that dogged piece of play and good finishing from the United skipper Brian Robson. Second half, as the ball is threaded through here by Ralph Milne. Here's McClair. Look at the run there inside by Mark Hughes. He's clear, and a lovely piece of finishing again for United. But once again, it was a draw when United really should have expected a victory. And 4 days later, it was the same story. United again at home, once more to a lowly side, Sheffield Wednesday, and again a draw, 1-1. And United thanking this fine piece of opportunism here by Mark Hughes with just 8 minutes of the game left. Beating almost the entire Sheffield Wednesday defence to bring much relief to Old Trafford. Yet another draw when Manchester United visited Newcastle United. 0-0 that one. But then they got back onto their winning ways with this victory against Charlton Athletic. In teeming rain, the ball eventually punched out there to Ralph Milne. There was a deflection off a defender. It's in the back of the Charlton net, and Ralph Milne will certainly claim the goal. Goal number 2 was a fine one, and it followed some good work by Billy Garton. Here's Ralph Milne again. Hughes once more. And here's Garton now. A fine cross in, met by McClare. And United on their way to 3 very valuable points. What a good header that was for that second goal. But United hadn't finished yet. And inevitably these days it seemed Mark Hughes would yet have to have his say. And it was his third goal, and there have been few better ones from him this season. Robson's cross in, a turn, 3-0 to Manchester United. At this point, you really had a feeling that Manchester United could still have an outside say in the First Division Championship, but they came to Highbury to play Arsenal just before Christmas and were quickly 2 goals down. But they kept battling away, and none better than Gordon Strachan here. What a brilliant run this is. He's got some support from young Russell Beardsmore, who's on as a substitute. Here's Beardsmore. The cross comes in. And who's on the end of it once again? Typically, Mark Hughes. But that was a defeat in London for Manchester United. Good work, though, from young Russell Beardsmore, gaining in confidence with every game he plays. Mark Hughes absolutely brimming with it. Now we come to the best week of United's season. This is Boxing Day. The visitors are Nottingham Forest. And United in rampant form here. Against, let's face it, one of the most talented sides in the First Division. A well-worked opening goal here. Hughes hitting the ball at the goalkeeper at the second attempt, and it squirts free to Ralph Milne. And United go into the lead. In the second half, they score a goal that delights their fans, and particularly manager Alec Ferguson. From this moment on, Nottingham Forest don't even touch the ball until it's in the back of the net. Once again, a great run by Gordon Strachan at the heart of it. Outside him is Mark Hughes. Great finishing, and that's 2-0 to Manchester United. And then, of course, that stunning game coming up against Liverpool. Looking desperately for a way to get back into this game. Liverpool still leading by a goal to 0. Here's Hughes. Certainly plenty of life about Manchester United play. Looking very positive. Donachie now finding Beardsmore. Getting towards that byline. It could be dangerous. A great volley! McClare has made it 1-1. Great fight back by United. Robbins there, on as a substitute. Here's Beardsmore again for Manchester United. Robbins playing it in. Steve Nicol trying to get it away, but it's charged down by Mark Hughes. Another goal! United in the lead. Mark Hughes, the scorer. Here's Hughes again. Full of running now, Manchester United. And Liverpool beginning to look just a little fragile. Sharp getting to the byline. Liverpool can't cope with it. Russell Beardsmore can! The next home league game was against Millwall, and United again score 3. Here's Donachie, who since his arrival from Luton Town did so much to stabilise the United defence. And here's Hughes again. Taken up by McClare and Clayton Blackmore. Blackmore in there again for Manchester United. Here's Ralph Milne. And a really good goal coming up now from Tony Gill. Taken superbly on the volley, almost in Mark Hughes style, at the far post. and certainly worth a second look. Good running by Milne, a lovely cross, splendid finishing. So that was 2-0. And at this time in the season, no Manchester United game seemed complete without a goal from Mark Hughes. There's the latest of them, but sadly for Mark and United fans, that was to be his last league goal until May against Everton. But even without a Mark Hughes goal, Manchester United still managed to pick up 3 in difficult conditions away to West Ham. This is the first of them coming up now. A long raking drive from Brian Robson. The keeper couldn't hold it, but Gordon Strachan, as nimble as ever, finds the back of the net, and United are in the lead. That incidentally to be the last league goal scored by Gordon Strachan for United after an illustrious career at Old Trafford before he joined Leeds United. Just an element of good fortune about the second goal, but maybe United deserved it because they were playing with a lot of flair in these difficult conditions. And here's Brian Robson. Lee Martin makes the run from defence, takes the ball here, but it cannons off the defender, past the West Ham goalkeeper. Credit to Lee Martin, even though he was injured in the process, and United 2 goals to the good. Jim Leighton with the punch-out from West Ham's corner, and Strachan on the move again for United. A foul, though, by Mark Ward of West Ham, and after a bit of a dispute, a free kick for Manchester United. A match where they always seem to be in control, and with the 3rd goal coming up now, the points assured. A great shot there by McClare, after good work by Clayton Blackmore. Blackmore's header, McClare's fine finish, 3 points for United. And United kept this momentum going with a home victory now against Tottenham. Again, Strachan at the heart of things. A jinking run of his again. Plays the little 1-2 with Hughes. McClare finishes it off. And that 1 goal was enough to bring another 3 points. Next to be beaten was Sheffield Wednesday, and that marked up Manchester United's 6th successive victory, in which they conceded only 1 goal. A lovely ball played out wide. Milne showing a great burst of speed, a flick inside, and McClare is there once again. There's certainly no holding Manchester United at this period, and when you look now towards the second goal, just look how hard they work for it. All the hustling and closing down. Sheffield Wednesday in possession, Robson doing most of it, mind you. The chase is on there. Sheffield Wednesday get possession again, charged down there by Robson, and the ball comes clear. Wednesday get it again, a charge again, this time by Hughes, and he's suddenly in the clear. That was done by hard work. The shot was charged down, but it's a happy ending for United because Brian McClare's there again. Another victory for United. So hopes were high when Manchester United visited Norwich City. But now they turned in one of their least effective performances that truly disappointed their manager, Alec Ferguson. The one bright spot, their only goal. Made here by Brian McClare and scored by the big defender, Paul McGrath. A splendid volley there, wide of the keeper. And the one bright spot on a pretty murky afternoon for Manchester United. McClare the provider, McGrath the surprise finisher. So Norwich completed the double. But similarly, Manchester United completed the double over Luton Town. A 2-0 win for them at Old Trafford. Robson again in there. Touched by McClare. Beardsmore on the far side. And Ralph Milne just slipping the ball in by the near post to put United into the lead. Mal Donaghy with the throw against his old club Luton. McClare putting the ball on. And Blackmore sliding it in to make sure of a victory for Manchester United. United needed an own goal, though, to get a point out of Arsenal at Old Trafford. Tony Adams, the Arsenal skipper, had the doubtful distinction of scoring at both ends. Here's the one that brought joy for Manchester United. A missed kick there. Lukic couldn't hold it. It finishes 1-1. And when Wimbledon came to Old Trafford, United were having a really dismal time. Consider this record. United had lost 4 of their previous 6 games and hadn't scored in the last 4 of them. And now against blue-shirted Wimbledon, they had to wait until the very last minute to get on the score sheet here. Majorana's brought down there. It produces the free kick. And from the free kick, a scrambled last-minute goal. But one at least that lifts the morale a little bit for Manchester United. Scrambled home there by Brian McClair. A 1-0 victory at last. But when Manchester United visited Southampton, it was another defeat. Here comes the solitary Manchester United goal as McGrath plays it out of defence. Some good work coming up in a moment by the substitute Ralph Milne. Beardsmore just finds him out there on the far side. He cuts into the Southampton box, pulls it back for Beardsmore, and there was Manchester United's solitary consolation in a 2-1 defeat. He scored some useful goals, and no doubt there'll be many more for him to come in his career with Manchester United. We see it from another angle, battles for the ball there, finds Milne in space, cut back beautifully there for Russell Beardsmore, and he obliges Manchester United, but it was too little and too late. 2 days later, another defeat for United, this time in London, away to Queen's Park Rangers. But what a fine flying header there from Steve Bruce. And the second United goal coming almost directly from the kickoff here. Beardsmore again, very agile. And Clayton Blackmore with a really good piece of finishing. But 3-2 to Queen's Park Rangers. And 2 days later on, a 1-1 draw against Everton at Old Trafford. But the first goal for Mark Hughes in the league since January. And he comes back in the best possible style with that shot past Neville Southall there to earn the 1-1 draw. It's amazing when he scored goals at will for so long in the early part of the season that he should have such a barren spell. But that was Mark Hughes back at his best. So United still looking for a way to finish the season on a high note. But Newcastle United, already relegated, still causing a few problems as you come to the later stages of this game at Old Trafford. Mark Robins is a substitute down this left flank, really driving in his cross there. McClair has made it superbly. Really drove that cross in. It was a fine, controlled header by McClair. Look at that cross. But what a brilliant header. United still now having much more of the game, pinning Newcastle into their own half. McClair down by the corner flag. Touched by Hughes. Oh, unlucky there off the goalkeeper's legs. Beardsmore will hope to turn it back in again to Robson. And that's 2. Blair's work was useful. Hughes was unlucky. Beardsmore's was priceless. And Robson, well, he was just Robson. So much then for the Barclays League. But Manchester United also competed in the Mercantile Credit Centenary Trophy. And they reached the final. Their first game back in August was at Old Trafford against Everton. This is Kevin Ratcliffe on the ball for Everton. Back to the goalkeeper Neville Southall. And what we shall see in a moment is a collector's item, because coming up, the only goal of the game scored for Manchester United by Gordon Strachan with a header. Long ball played by Steve Bruce out of defence. Strachan making his little run into the box, the cross coming in, and there's the Strachan header. Past Southall, he touches his head as he goes to the fans. Now, whether he took a knock on the head or whether he's just saying, good Lord, I've actually scored with a header. Well, whatever it was, the next match was against Newcastle United at Old Trafford. The sides had played 90 minutes without a goal being scored, and we're now going into extra time. The winners were meeting the winners of the other group, Arsenal, in the final at Villa Park. Newcastle playing some good, neat football here, but broken up by Stephen Bruce. A long, surging run by him. Continues his run into the box as he feeds Jesper Olsen with it. There's the cross. McClair hits it against the woodwork, but Bruce is there to snap up the rebound and put Manchester United into the lead. Second goal coming up now. Corner to be taken by Lee Sharp. And these Mercantile Credit matches providing a good warm-up to the season for all the competing clubs. Robson now with the throw for Manchester United. Hughes looking to force an error again out of this Newcastle United defence. Gets to the byline, a nice little cross, and a good header. The forerunner of quite a number to come in the season from Brian McClair. Arsenal still having the upper hand in this final at Villa Park. Leading by 2-0 and a bit of pain there for Mark Hughes. Good atmosphere in this Villa Park ground for this final. Arsenal fans at the moment pretty jubilant about it all, but there's a lovely little touch by Hughes, releasing McClair. He's got Beardsmore in support here. There's Beardsmore with the cross in. Oh, and a great flying header by Clayton Blackmore. A fine goal for Manchester United. A lovely little touch by Hughes in the first place. McClair took up the running. And Beardsmore already beginning to show himself as a good crosser of the ball. And Clayton Blackmore, to be honest, won't score many better goals than that for Manchester United. So, Manchester United were beaten in that Mercantile final. And, of course, they were hoping for a good run in the Littlewoods Cup. They come into the second round of this competition with a match home and away against Rotherham United.